Aix-les-Bains, locally called Aix, is a commune in the Savoie department in the Rhône-Alpes region in southeastern France, rising from the shores of the largest natural lake of glacial origin in France, the Lac du Bourget. This resort is one of the important French spa towns, and has the largest freshwater marina in France. It is the second largest Savoy town in terms of population, having 28,585 inhabitants at the last census, and is part of its own urban area, the urban area of Aix-les-Bains, a leading town of the Belle Époque, of international renown. Aix-les-Bains was a place of vacation for princely families and wealthy people. Although the thermal baths are no longer the main activity of Aix, the area continues to be important for water sports and activities. The town has partially compensated for the loss of visitors coming for spa treatments by developing tourism. The town, between the lake and mountains, has many strengths in this area. It hosts up to 200,000 general visitors, people wanting thermal treatment, are tourists per year. Aix-les-Bains shines on a national scale through a number of assets such as the National Thermal Baths, tourism and the National Music Festival. Also, with several labels including Touristic Resort, Flowery City with 4 flowers and a Golden Flower, City of Art and History, a 5-it Internet City, and Nautical Resort. However, Aix is also an industrial town, with a few large companies such as Alstom, the headquarters of the Elia Couteau and Gros companies, Abselia, Exam, and a high-quality leather goods factory. Geography. Location: Aix-les-Bains is located in the southeast of France, 107 kilometers east of Lyon. The town is located in a corridor between the mountain of Mont-Revid, the first natural rampart of the Massif des Bauges to the east, and the Lac du Bourget, the largest natural lake of France, to the west. Thus, the city extends mostly on a north-south axis. Its extension is such that its agglomeration merges gradually with that of Chambéry. The area of the commune is 12.62 square kilometers, which is large for the department. The town is traditionally divided into two: the lower town that occupies the banks of the lake to the west, and the upper town, where the town center is located, overlooking the Lac du Bourget. The town was first built on the heights in order to avoid the many floods of the lake until it was regulated by the dam of the Compagnie Nationale du Rhône between the Rhône and the natural spillway of Lake, the Canal de Savoie. The average altitude of the city is about 320 meters, while the lower part of it is only around 224 meters, at the level of the lake. 560 square kilometers of the Lac du Bourget watershed is occupied by the spa town of Aix, which borders on the shore. The lake is primarily fed to the south by the waters of the Lace, and to the east by those of the Tillet and the Sierras, both from the Aix territory. Native fish can be admired in the aquarium of Aix. The shore, which is occupied by Aix and Tresser, is highly urbanized and developed along the northeastern part with the road and the railway track. Many restaurants and nightclubs are located there. A nautical complex was built on its shore. This includes a swimming pool and a beach which has an Art Deco-style main entrance dating from 1936. After which is a vast esplanade, allowing walkers to stroll and special events to settle temporarily on this site. It offers, to everyone, a panoramic view of the lake and the Dent du Chat, where one can contemplate swans, ducks, herons, gulls and moorhens. The esplanade is bounded to the north and to the south by the Grand Port and the Petit Port respectively, thus constituting the Aix-Port, which is the largest freshwater port in the country with 1,500 mooring rings, having privileged places for boating on the lake, with boats having a summer or annual allocation. The Festival of Yachting takes place each year. This event has old boats coming from all horizons, a professional market, demonstrations and shows. The slopes above the lake that culminate in the Tour de l'Est, which overlooks the town and lake at a height of 1,562 meters. The western shore of the lake is narrower as the mountains along its edge are closer to the lake shore, although lower than those on the eastern side. The lake drains out of its northern end into the river Rhône about 5 kilometers to the north. Aix-les-Bains is situated in the hilly country of the Bourget, which makes up the foothills of the Alps and also forms part of the lower western extension of the Jura Mountains. Neighboring communes. The municipality of Aix-les-Bains is bordered by 9 communes. To the north, the municipality adjoins the territory of Blazon. To the northeast, Aix is bordered by the commune of Savoy-sur-Aix. Then, to the east, in the continuity of the Aix Heights, the commune of Puny-Châteauneuf is followed by the commune of Morcozy towards the southeast. Further to the southeast, Aix shares the boundaries of its territory with the neighboring commune of Drumettes-Clarifond. It follows south to the communes of Viviers-du-Lac and Tresserve. Finally, in the west, there are 2 communes bordering Aix across the lake. These are Bordeaux, La Chapelle du Mont-du-Chat. One of the specific limits of the municipal territory of the commune of Aix-les-Bains, on its western side, is the existence the boundary imposed by the Lac du Bourget. This limit of territory is shared with 5 other municipalities, these being Bordeaux, Blazon and La Chapelle du Mont-du-Chat, Tresserve and Viviers-du-Lac. Climate. The meteorological station of MEAQTE France in Aix-les-Bains, whose identification is 73,008,003, measures several daily meteorological parameters. The climate is of the alpine type, although temperate for the Aix area due to the presence of the lake. The position between 2 massifs favors the blocking of disturbances that often cause significant rainfall accumulations and even abundant compared to the national average. Nevertheless, this climate is characterized by summers which are often dry and hot but punctuated by fairly regular storms. Autumns are generally rainy, although a beautiful end to the season is also common. Winters have occurred with some frost, but it is low to moderate. The springtime is normal, with no particular abnormalities and varies from one year to the next. Snow is not present or absent, especially on the shores of the lake. The water of the Lac du Bourget cools more slowly than the surrounding land. Unlike other Savoy communes, one can specify all the same that the top of the town experiences more cold and snow. It is possible for there to be snow on the hills and not in the town center. There is usually between 1 and 2 degrees Celsius difference between the bottom and the top of the town. The winter of 2007-2008 was characterized by a complete lack of snow, whilst in the winter of early 2010, between 40 to 60 centimeters fell during a single night. Episodes of strong winds are relatively rare. The sunshine is good and fog is infrequent. Temperatures, meanwhile, fluctuate, which may allow for a scorching summer and a light winter, or, conversely, freshness during passages of summertime rain, and winters with very cold periods. The table below shows the temperatures and precipitation for the year 2007, along with the record minimum and maximum temperatures up to the date. Communication and transport. Aix-les-Bains is located on the major transport axis between Chambéry and Annecy. The northern branch of the A41 motorway passes to the east of the town, allowing direct access to Annecy and then later, by the continuity of the A40, into the city of Geneva. Two junctions serve the commune, one to the south, the other to the north. On the secondary network, the road 991 road crosses Aix and joins Viviers-du-Lac and Chambéry to the south. To the west, the D1201 road heads towards the southwest and the Lac du Bourget towards the commune of Le Bourget-du-Lac and, through the center, the D991 road. Aix-les-Bains is also accessible by train. It was one of the earliest European municipalities to host a rail network in its territory when it was administered by the Dukes of Savoy. Today, the city is connected to Chambéry and Annecy and Colosse. The Turin-Lyon high-speed railway will, in the coming years, bring together the cities of Paris, Lyon, Turin and Milan. Aix-les-Bains station has been a multimodal transport hub since 2007. Located to the west of the town centre on Boulevard de President Wilson, Aix-les-Bains Le Revard railway station is served by the TGV, which puts the town within 3 hours of Paris. Aix is situated 9 kilometers north of Chambéry. By rail, Chambéry's Savoie Airport, formerly Aix-les-Bains, Chambéry, is located at the south of the town of Aix-les-Bains, in the commune of Vauglans, a few meters from the south shore of the Lac du Bourget. It serves many countries including the UK, Denmark, Sweden and, internally, Paris-Orly from 2013. There are many winter flights due to the proximity of the winter sports resorts. 3 low-cost carrier airlines offer regular flights. In 2002, the airport recorded a record attendance with 3,600 aircraft movements year-round, dealing with more than 10,000 passengers per weekend, mainly in winter. In the town centre, the car is the most popular mode of transport in Aix-les-Bains. Despite the efforts made by the Association Roues Libre for the development of urban cycling, traffic at peak hours is particularly difficult, especially in the summer with the influx of tourists. The portion of the D1201 road along the lake, in the direction of Chambéry, is particularly sensitive to this increase in road traffic. The same problem happens with the Rue de Genève, the Boulevard President Wilson and the Rue de Chambéry. To the north, it is similarly so on the way out of the town in the direction of Albans and Annecy on the Boulevard Maréchal de la de Tassigny. However, traffic has tended to improve with urban development promoting the emergence of roundabouts at the expense of the traffic light, allowing a better flow of traffic. In addition, in the town centre, 2 car parks can accommodate vehicles, although the number of parking spaces remains low in the town centre for shopping. For travellers preferring public transport, 2 main bus routes and 16 additional routes serve the metropolitan area. 2 routes are also available to access the side of Mont-Revard and the chapel of the Mont du Chat. Ondia was tasked by the CALB to manage transit services. It employs 55 people. During the summer, the town is served for short trips by a small train traveling on the roads. It runs between the esplanade of the lake, the beach and town center. Urbanism, urban morphology. The life of Aix-les-Bains is located largely on its heights where its downtown, the economic heart, and its thermal baths are located. Indeed, the history of the town has made it a spa town. Aix was organized around this activity, which was initiated by the Romans. The lower part of the town, located on the shores of the lake, was abandoned because of the risk of flooding. The land was cultivated and there were fish farms. The economic activity is mainly on the upper part, and the urban morphology has adapted. It had to take into account living space for services and the surrounding geography. Aix-les-Bains includes 6 head boulevards, which are the Robert Barrier Boulevard, Boulevard L'Epoque, Russia Boulevard, the Boulevard of Dr. Jean Charcot, the Boulevard of the Coasts and President Franklin Delano Roosevelt Boulevard. These boulevards are wide and open, unlike the streets of downtown, which are narrower, and the other axes, which can be more constrained because of the proximity of the Massif des Bauges and its winding climbs, meeting the more anarchic requirements of the moment without taking the urban fabric into overall account. The town includes various neighborhoods such as Chantemerle, Bonslin, around the railway station, the Sierras, La Liberté, the lakeside, Marleos, L'Epic, Franklin Roosevelt and many others. With urban expansion and population growth, Aix-les-Bains constantly extends, similarly to the neighboring communes. Little by little, one speaks beyond a city of Aix-les-Bains as such, but the Aix area encompassing an urban plan, with the nearby communes such as Tresserve, Gr-Sy-sur Aix-Morxy, M-Y, Drumataz, Clarifond, Sonnaz, as well as other communes. This phenomenon also applies to Chambéry, which is located south of Aix-les-Bains and is considered as the Chambéry area. The urban morphology of these two local watersheds tends to draw them inexorably closer together. In order to reconcile the urban development of the Aix and Chambéry areas, the joint association of the Métropole Savoie has been implemented. The mission is to follow the pattern of territorial coherence of the Communes de Savoie, Chambéry and the Lac du Bourget. Housing Aix-les-Bains had 11,720 homes in 1999. Few new constructions have been built since the date, and only 10.7% of primary residences were built subsequent to 1990. In contrast, homes built prior to 1949 account for 28% of the area. 72.1% of homes are primary residences, distributed as 21.5% in detached houses and 78.5% in apartments. 50.5% of the population are homeowners, with 45.3% as tenants. 1,837 RHLM rent-controlled housing, or 15.7% of the area in 1999. The city did not meet the provisions of Article 55 of the Law on Solidarity and Urban Renewal of December 2000, which laid down a 20% minimum rate of social housing in the most important municipalities. It further noted that the number of vacant dwellings was quite high in 1999, accounting for 11.4% of the area. The OPAC of the Savoy, with more than 1,657 social homes in the commune, manages the assets of about 2,500 homes through its antenna Aix-les-Bains. This includes 1,600 of Aix-les-Bains, located in the Sierras Franklin neighborhood among others. Homes with 4 rooms account for 46% of the overall housing stock, with 3-roomed homes at 27.4% and 2 rooms at 17.5%. Small housing accounts for about 1/10 of Aix housing. It should be noted that these accommodations are well staffed and equipped, particularly because of the geographic location at the heart of the Alps, since 93.9% have central heating and 58.5% have a garage or a parking space. With the fact that the town is urbanized almost in its entirety, it becomes increasingly more difficult to build larger houses to accommodate families who don't live in the city. The edge of the lake and the hills are beginning to be saturated where there is a sprawl from the surrounding communities. It is worth noting the presence of much accommodation within former large luxury hotels, ruins from the Belle Époque, now gone. Planning projects. Several projects of the municipality are underway in the downtown area, on the western shore of the lake as well as mainly to the south. This is to establish new areas of commercial activity to attract new business to the Aix economic area. The establishment of new residential areas is also scheduled. in collaboration with the municipalities of Émieux-Ottawa and Dramatas-Clarifond. Through concerted urban development, the town of Aix-les-Bains contributes to the emergence of an activity called the Savoy hexapole area and also enables the development of a commercial area serving all of the southern sector of the Aix area. The ZAC des Bords du Lac, under construction, will extend over about 15 hectares at the location of, among others, the former municipal campground of Sierras. This very controversial project is yet to be launched by the Deputy Mayor Dominique Daud's municipal team. This new district, developed by the Society for the Development of the Savoy, was named Aix du Lac. A 36 meters wide promenade was built between Barrière and Garibaldi boulevards, named Allée Promenade des Bords du Lac. This is essentially the opening of a road with a narrow lane of traffic in both directions. The rest will be dedicated to pedestrians, cyclists and trees. This lane will host high environmental quality accommodation and nearby businesses that will benefit residents of the neighborhood and buildings under construction. In 2013, one of the major projects of the municipal council was the restoration of the course of the River Tillet and the creation of a harbour for boats at the Petit Port near this river leading into the Lac du Bourget. The work amounts to €7 million. By rearranging the small harbour, the city wants to take advantage of the situation by decontaminating the River Tillet, which is heavily polluted with polychlorinated biphenyls. The municipality and the CALB chose for a solution to store the PCB-contaminated soil on site. The waste transport solution to a specialized treatment center was not successful. Among the comments from various stakeholders in the project, it was said, it will be placed in a watertight compartment and will be used to make an embankment to widen the roadway of the Garibaldi Boulevard, which runs alongside the fishermen's campsite, and to develop sidewalks and parking. The work to the harbour for boats has also brought upheavals to the level of traffic. Petit Port will become a cul-de-sac. Barrière Boulevard, previously connected to the Petit Port Avenue, will no longer be so in the future, as the municipality decided to postpone the flow of traffic on the Garibaldi Boulevard. This boulevard will become the new main road to get to the Barrière Boulevard through the small streets which formed the way of Beatas and, with the fusion of greenery, a new access between the business district and the Sierras campsite. The Boulevard du Port aux Fils will become a one-way street, except for buses. Toponymy: Aix-les-Bains, a city founded in the 1st century AD, is rarely mentioned in the epigraphic texts, and never known by Roman authors. However, two inscriptions preserved by the Archaeological Museum mention of the Latin aqua or Aix-en-Provence, and Aquensis. So information is provided about the name of this vicus dependent on the city of Vienne. The historians of the 19th century were sometimes subjected to read fanciful names and without historical foundation that still dot some popular books. These include Aqua Allobrogium, Aqua Gratiani and Allobrogum Aqua Gratiani. The name Aqua is found in the deed of the gift of the royal land of Aix by King Rudolph III of Burgundy to his wife Ermengarde. In 1011, some texts from the Middle Ages mention of Aqua Gratia Napolis. This suffix simply stating that Aix was part of the Diocese of Grenoble. The first known mention of Aix-les-Bains appears in the archives from September 1792, in a letter from a French soldier recuperating at Aix waters. It is this name which then appears in all official documents, including the deliberations of the municipal council. In the early 19th century, some literary texts made use of the appellation Aix-en-Savoie. However, this name has never been used in administrative documents. Since 1954, the railway station of Aix-les-Bains, at the request of the council, has been called Aix-les-Bains-le-Revid.